Okay, Room 21 Rockstars, so today we're going to look at some prefixes. Obviously, we've already talked about the fact this year that when a prefix is added to the beginning of a word, it changes something about that word in some way, shape, or form. Today we're going to look how the prefixes really have an influence on the addition to the word. And then we're also looking at how to take that base word off, the main part of the word to which a prefix is added. Okay, so the spelling of the base word does not change when a prefix is added. So here are the 4 prefixes that we're going to work on today. In, un, dis, and miss. Okay, in meaning not. Okay, un meaning not, dis meaning not, and miss meaning bad. So let's go ahead and look at a couple of examples, and we're going to go forth there. So first of all, check out this sentence I have. So it says, Mr. Riker decided to connect his Apple TV last night. Now, what I've done here is I want to talk about what happens when I look at this word connect and I add the prefix dis to the word connect. So if I decided to connect my Apple TV last night, that basically means that I decided to take that Apple TV and plug it into my TV so that I could watch something using my Apple TV, right? Now, if I disconnect my Apple TV, what does that do to the word? Well, basically, dis means not or opposite of, okay? So when I add dis to this word, as in the example right here, I now change the meaning of the word, meaning I took the Apple TV out of my TV, so I was not able to do that. So dis is the opposite of, okay, as in this example right here. Let's move on and look. Okay, guys, now let's look at this sentence here. Okay, follow along as I read it. It says, Mrs. Austin stated that it was necessary for us to wear Room 21 Rockstar t-shirts on the Washington, D.C. trip. Now, the word I kind of want you to hone in on right now is the word necessary, which is right here. What does that word mean in context? Just with the word and no prefix added on. Yeah, it means it was a requirement. Now, follow along with me. What if I added in un, the prefix un to necessary, just like this, and now let's reread the sentence one more time with that new prefix. Mrs. Austin stated that it was unnecessary for us to wear our Room 21 Rockstar t-shirts on the Washington, D.C. trip. Now, when I put un here, not necessary, unnecessary means it was not a requirement. Okay, so that totally changed the meaning of the word. Let's look at another prefix you're going to be focusing on today. The students were decisive in their choice of what food they wanted to order for their award. Okay, the students were decisive in their choice of what food they wanted to order for the reward. Maybe we're talking about March Madness here, but nonetheless, okay, let's hone in on the word decisive. Now, first of all, let's think about what that word means before we go any further. What does decisive mean using context? Well, I kind of see the word decision in decisive, so it seems to me that decisive means they really, really knew what they wanted for their award. Okay, now, follow along with me, but say that I add the word or the prefix in to decisive. The students were indecisive in their choice of what food they wanted to order for their award. Well, in, once again, is kind of like dis, meaning not or opposite of, okay? So if indecisive is the opposite of the word, indecisive means they didn't know what choice to make. That's why I kind of put this picture here of this guy with arrows going all directions and a question mark above his head, because he is being indecisive. He doesn't know what decision to make. One final prefix I want us to look at today. Okay, first of all, follow along as I read the sentence. It states, the parents were informed of the family night on Thursday 4 weeks ago. Okay, so what I want us to hone in on is the word informed. Now, if the parents were informed of the family night on Thursday 4 weeks ago, using context, I know informed must means if they knew about it 4 weeks ago, they must have had knowledge of it. So I see information in the word informed. So that means they had knowledge of, right? Now, if I take the prefix miss, okay, and add that onto the front of inform, I now get a word that looks like misinformed. Okay, so if the parents were misinformed of the family night on Thursday 4 weeks ago, that means that they Some type of information was wrong somewhere along there. Okay, so once again, misinformation or misinformed. They didn't quite understand. And I thought this picture was interesting. M is for misleading. Here's another word with miss. This cat's looking at this dog that put on a mask that is a cat, and the cat's like, what? So that is kind of misleading because that's really a dog underneath. Okay, so the final thing now I want you guys to do is to move on to those crystal ball words using the knowledge of the prefixes that we just talked about.